Okay, we're starting ancient Aegean art. Greece before Homer. Cycladic art is circa 3000 to 2000 BCE. Minoan art circa 2000 to 1200 BCE. Old Palace period is circa 2000 to 1700 BCE. The Middle and Late Minoan period circa 3000 to 2000 BCE. Mycenaean art circa 1600 to 1200 BCE. And there is your map. Early Cycladic art. The ancient Cycladic culture flourished in the islands of the Aegean Sea from circa 3300 to 1100 BCE. Along with the Minoan civilization in Mycenaean Greece, the Cycladic people are counted among the three major Aegean cultures. Cycladic art therefore comprises one of three main branches of Aegean art. The islands of the Aegean Sea boast excellent marble quarries, and marble statuettes are the major surviving artworks of the Cyclades during the 3rd millennium BCE. Cycladic figurines, sometimes called Cycladic idols, are among the most enigmatic and most evocative objects from Greek prehistory. Usually of relatively small dimensions, they are highly stylized depictions of the human form, made of local Cycladic marble which was carved and then polished. Their most likely function is as some sort of religious idol, and the predominance of female figures, sometimes pregnant, suggests a fertility deity. Supporting this view is the fact that figurines have been found outside of a burial context at settlements on Milos, Kia, and Thera. The best known type of artwork that has survived is the marble figurine, most commonly a single full-length female figure with arms folded across the front. The type is known to archaeologists as a FAF, folded arm figurine. Apart from a sharply defined nose, the faces are a smooth blank, although there is evidence on some that they were originally painted. Considerable numbers of these are known, though unfortunately most were removed illicitly from their unrecorded archaeological context, which seems usually to be a burial. Cycladic statuettes are anonymously created. Attempts have been made to associate them with different workshops, but because of plundering of art, the provenances are mostly unknown, and some could likely be forgeries. These are a bunch of examples of Cycladic statuettes. The one here on the right is a figurine of a woman from Syros, Cyclades, Greece, circa 2600 to 2300 BCE. She's made of marble, 1 foot and 6 inches high. Examples of Cycladic art. This is a male harp player from Kyros, Cyclades, Greece, circa 2600 to 2300 BCE, made of marble, 9 inches tall. Okay, this is an example of Brancusi looking at Cycladic art. So modern artists look back at art history all the time. The art of the Minoan civilization of Bronze Age Crete, 2000 to 1500 BCE, displays a love of animal, sea, and plant life, which was used to decorate frescoes and pottery, and also inspired forms in jewelry, stone vessels, and sculpture. The Golden Age of Crete was the Middle and Late Minoan periods. The Minoan palaces were administrative, commercial, and religious centers that may not have been royal residences. The greatest Minoan palace was at Knossos, a vast multi-story structure arranged around a central court. The Knossos Palace was so complex in plan that it gave rise to the myth of the Minotaur in the labyrinth of King Minos. The major pictorial art form in the Minoan world was fresco painting. The murals depicted rituals such as bull leaping. We have a very good video on that. Landscapes, seascapes, and other subjects. Some of the best examples, such as the spring fresco, come from Akrotiri on the island of Thera, buried during the volcanic eruption of 1628 BCE. Vase painting also flourished. Sea motifs, for instance the octopus, were very popular subjects. Surviving examples of Minoan sculpture are of small scale. They include statuettes of snake goddesses and reliefs on small objects, for example, the harvester's vase. This is Minoan architecture, the largest Cretan palace. It's home of King Minos. It is a reconstructed view of the palace. 1700 to 1370 BCE. Minoan architecture consists of several structures which acted as centers for commercial, religious, and administrative life. Archaeologists have unearthed in Crete a Minoan landscape filled with tombs, palaces, villas, towns, and roads that connected them. The Knossos Palace was complex in elevation as well as plan. It had at least 3 stories on all sides of the court. Minoan columns taper from top to bottom, the opposite of Egyptian and Greek columns. It resembles a Greek Doric order. They are composed of rough, unshaped filled stones embedded in clay. This is an image of a stairwell in the residential quarter of the palace. Minoan columns taper at the bottom. Knossos, Crete, Greece, circa 1700 to 1370 BCE. This is an example of a buon fresco painting from the palace at Knossos. It is bull leaping. It's a ritual. And you can see that they have pinched waists. The fresco is 2 feet by 8 inches high, 1500 BCE. Here we can see more detail. In the painting, buon fresco or a true fresco is the most durable method of painting murals because the pigments are completely fused within a damp plaster ground and they become an integral part of the wall surface. Another buon fresco, it's a landscape with swallows. It's considered the spring fresco. Its south and west walls of room Delta 2 in Akrotiri, Thera, in the Cyclades, Greece, circa 1650 to 1625. Aegean muralists painted true frescoes which required rapid execution. In this wraparound landscape, the painter used vivid colors and undulating line to capture the essence of nature. Here's our snake goddess from the palace at Knossos, Crete in Greece, circa 1600 BCE. It is considered a mortal priestess instead of a deity. It is a prehistoric fertility image for divinities, possibly. Snakes in the hands implied power over the animal world. It has a bodice, skirt, headdress. The sculptor is probably fashioning gods in the image of its people. It is a small scale sculpture. It is 1 foot by 1.5 inches high. Mycenae is perhaps best known in mythology as the city of Agamemnon, the son of Atreus. King Agamemnon led the expedition against Troy during the Trojan War, which Homer accounted in his epic poem, the Iliad. He is presented as a great warrior but selfish ruler, famously upsetting his invincible champion Achilles and so prolonging the war and suffering of his men. The Mycenaeans are the first Greeks. In other words, they were the first people to speak the Greek language. The Mycenaean civilization thrived between 1650 and 1200 BC. The Mycenaeans made masks and bronze daggers inlaid with gold and silver. By 1400 BCE, the Mycenaeans had occupied Crete, and between 1400 and 1200 BCE, they erected great citadels on the mainland at Mycenae, Tiryns, and elsewhere with cyclopean walls of huge irregularly shaped stone blocks. The Greeks of the historical period did not believe that mere humans could have constructed these fortifications. Masters of corbelled vaulting, the Mycenaeans also erected beehive-shaped Tholos tombs. The best example is the treasury of Atreus. It boasts the largest dome on the pre-Roman world. The oldest preserved large-scale sculptures in Greece, most notably, are the Mycenae's Lion Gate, which dates to the end of the Mycenaean period. The Mycenaeans also excelled in small-scale ivory, metalworking, and pottery painting. Many of the Mycenaean objects known today may have been the work of Cretan artists, however. While both cultures were masterful in painting sculptures and other forms of art, the Minoans concentrated more on being detailed and nature-oriented, while the Mycenaeans were plainer and more focused on warlike sculptures. Mycenaean architecture, this is an aerial view at the Citadel, Tiryns, Greece. This is the Cyclopean masonry giant walls, fortification that was considered a hostile world on mainland Greece. These are huge, rough-cut stones. They were using the corbelled arch construction, corbelled vaults. This is a corbelled vaulted gallery in the circuit wall of the Citadel at Tiryns, Greece, circa 1400 to 1200 BCE. Here is the Lion's Gate. The lions act as guardian figures like the Lamassu, the largest sculpture in prehistoric Aegean art. It consists of two great monolithic posts and a huge lintel. It is made of limestone. It is a relief panel. It's 9 feet by 6 inches high. Here is a metalwork example, the repoussé technique. Goldsmiths hammered the shape of each mask from a single sheet of metal and pushed the features out from behind. This is one of the first attempts to produce a sculpted image of a human face that is life-size in Greece. It came from a royal shaft grave. It's not sure if it was intended as a portrait. It is a funerary mask from grave circle A. Homer described the Mycenaeans as rich in gold. This is from circa 1600 to 1500 BCE. Another example of metalwork. This is an inlaid dagger blade with a lion hunt from grave circle A, Mycenae, Greece, circa 1600 to 1500 BCE. This bronze inlaid with gold, silver, and yellow. It's 9 inches long. It attests to the wealth of the Mycenaean kings as well as their warlike nature. It has a scene of 4 hunters attacking a lion that has struck down a 5th hunter, while 2 lions flee. On the other side, it depicts lions attacking deer. And the artist borrowed the subject from the Egyptian and Mesopotamian artists. Here's an example of a vase painting. It's a warrior vase or crater. A crater is a ceremonial bowl for mixing wine and water. It does show a military uniform history. It depicts a woman to the left bidding farewell to the column of heavily armed warriors moving away from her. This is from Mycenae, Greece, circa 1200 BCE. And this is the last image.